Drew, you're muted.
Yep. Thank you, Jim. Yeah, thank you. I think I'm unmuted now. So we
Okay.
have started recording. As a reminder, if you do not consent to be recorded, please do drop off the call. We will be holding this call for 1 hour. So I'm showing a 10:30 a.m. start right now. We do have our program managers, Jim Willett and Stephen Kung, here from DOE headquarters. Thank you both for being here. We will plan on holding this session up to an hour or until we're finished with questions. So if we get to a point where we do have a pause, we'll give everyone a moment to to pause and to think through additional questions. But if we do have an extended pause here, we will stop the session at that point. I do want to welcome everybody out to this office hour session. This is a new effort that the NEUP office is making with the support of our DOE program management here to allow the university community to interact with federal points of contact and technical points of contact. There's three main objectives to this office hour session. The first is to try to better understand ongoing programmatic activities. The second is to ask and receive clarifications about what fits within DOE NE mission and the relevant topic area that we'll be discussing today. And overall to build better communication between universities and the programs. To that extent, we would like university faculty to please keep your comments and questions limited to these objectives. This year, relevancy will be evaluated differently than in years past, where there will be more emphasis on relevance to any mission and less relevance on program priority. So with that in mind, please, rather than inquiring about whether a topic is of interest to the program, please focus your comments around trying to understand whether it's relevant overall to the NE mission. As a reminder, to create an open environment for submissions, there is an other category in each of these major topic areas that can capture anything that's not discussed specifically in any of the subtopical areas that will be discussed by Stephen and Jim today. And with that, I will open the session up here. To begin with, Stephen, Jim, I did want to give both of you the opportunity to give a quick overview of topic area number 2 and just give an idea of what your program offices do before we open up to the first question. As we do start the session here, what we would like to do is have individuals raise their hand in the GoToMeeting. You can do that by going up to the reactions area and clicking raise hand. That will notify us that you'd like to ask a question. This is an open mic, open format, and so what we'll ask you to do is we'll call on you, and then you can open your mic, open your video, and ask any questions. We would ask that you limit your questions to an initial question and one follow-up question to allow time for others to be able to ask questions in the meeting. So with that, Stephen, I'll turn the time over to you quickly, just to give some opening thoughts, and then we'll get started here.
Okay, thank you, Drew. So I didn't prepare anything. Do we have the presentation we used during the solicitation? We made that presentation available to us. I was trying to find out that notes there. I can't find it in real time. If you have that ready, we can use that one as a baseline to discuss. Otherwise, I can just talk about this.
Yeah, I think it's more informal than that, Stephen. Just talk. I think we just want to open up with just some initial thoughts on
okay,
the
I
program.
see. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Sorry about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no problem.
All right. My name is Stephen Kung. I'm helping to oversee the first topic called the aqueous topic. So my colleague here, Jim Willett, will be the responsible for the second topic, the molten salt area. So in this year's, in the past we have several subtopics, but this year our guidance is to combine everything in more generic form. In the aqueous area, we will cover all the simplified process. That's what our program are focusing. Our activities are focusing on at this time. So in a nutshell, we want to seek innovation into university programs. So we don't want you to become our extra pair of hands doing whatever we are doing now. We want to use your brain cell to help us to guide to a different area or new opportunities. So in that is our top priority. In general, we have this report. I'm not quite sure you guys can see it. This is the report we did a year ago. Dr. Bruce Moyer did at Oak Ridge. They did this report. If you don't have it, we can just send me an email. We will be happy to send to you this report, Advanced Fuel Cycle Innovation Need. So this report, you can find it online to download the report. If you don't have it, I send it a hard copy or our web link to you. So that's all I can say at this time, Drew. Anything I should mention at this time?
That's exactly what I was looking for, Stephen. So thanks. Jim wanted to give you an opportunity to open as well. Then we'll open up for questions.
Make sure I'm not muted. Good. This for the molten salt. I'm looking at the slide. At least it's a draft. The emphasis really is on speciation and structures at the atomic level. Molten salts to improve our fundamental atomic level understanding of solution chemistry and the solution properties. Encourage you not, in addition to looking at the report Stephen mentioned, and the link in that I think was in the presentation notes from the webinar, to look at also what's been done. So you can go into the NEUP website and access old reports and things like that. If for those of you that are, I guess, newer to this topic, save yourself some time of developing something and find out it was already done 2 years ago. So that's, and again, in the past, as Drew said, we were trying to have a stronger link to exact programs, and we've pulled back from that and try to have a more general idea or call for molten salts separations and solutions chemistry.
All right, thanks, Jim, for that overview. Now we'll open this up for online questions. So if you have questions you'd like to ask Stephen or Jim, please go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll open up the mic for you. All right, it looks like we have Xiaolei Gao, and I apologize if I messed up your name. So please do forgive me. I'm not the best at that. So go ahead.
That's true. Yeah, that's perfect actually. So yeah, I got a question actually about the FC5 category. So the issue was that there was no point of contact listed in the FOA or in the official forward that was just released. So I was wondering, so what are the specific, topics that they are covered in this category, and more specifically about the molten salt waste forms, right? I understood from the previous, introduction gave by Stephen and Jim that the molten salt effort is more focused on the speciation and solution chemistry. But what about the waste forms, right? Last year, you guys have a call to to require for the development of the salt waste form. But what about the corrosion of these kind of molten salt related waste forms? Are they of interest? If so, where I should submit this kind of effort? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, great question. Drew, you want me to start, or you can wait?
I can make a comment about the FC5, so I'll do that first, and then Stephen, if you want to take the other half of that question. For the other work scope areas, since there's a potential that those topics could be pretty varied, we decided not to put a point of contact on the other areas. What we would like you to do there is if you have a question about what may or may not fit in the other category, you can send that to neup@inl.gov. And we, as a university program team, will route that question to the appropriate program manager, who can then provide a response. That way we can get the right person for the specific topic area to make a response. So go ahead, Stephen, with the other half.
Okay, thank you. Regarding your waste form kind of a question specifically, we do have a material call separately. I forgot exactly the call number. Drew, maybe you and Anna can help us to find out. That's under Kimberly Gray for the waste form of fuel cycle. In that area, we do encourage folks to develop innovative waste form and off-gas sorbent material. In that area, you can submit proposal in that area if you want. Do we know? Do we know exactly the number? I can find out somewhere.
Stephen, this is Anna. I think you are referring to topic area 7, and the actual work scope would be NM4, and that is the material for fuel recycling applications. Is that what you're referring to? Okay, great.
Exactly. Thank you, Anna. That's exactly what I'm referring to.
I see. Thank you so much for that. And actually, I looked the work scope for that category, and I found that it was focused on the off-gas like capturing. So even though I was wondering just that even the corrosion part is of interest for that.
Sure, why not? If this is applied for the waste form specifically, you should go there. If it just talk about salt corrosion issue, you can also go to Jim's program.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but if it's waste form performance, which I think is what you're talking about, corrosion of the waste form.
Yes.
That would be more appropriate in the material side, I believe.
Sounds great. Yep. Thank you.
If you're talking about corrosion in the process of making the waste form, it would be the same thing. That would be the place to. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, we'll continue taking any questions. Like I said, if we'll take a pause here just to make sure that we give everyone a fair opportunity to ask questions, but we will cut the session here in about 5 minutes if we don't have any additional questions. So we'll hold here. Thanks, Stephen and Jim, for holding maybe in a potentially awkward way here, but we'll do our due diligence here and make sure we don't have any further questions.
Don't worry, Jim. Drew.
We are here to support. You limit to 5 minutes of awkward silence, right?
That's right. Yeah, not 30 minutes of awkward silence. So if there is anything that comes to mind, you're both welcome to talk, about any important program resources you feel like might the community might be interested in, or otherwise. Otherwise, we'll just pause here for a few minutes.
This is John Gilligan. I could just comment in general about the difference this year, of course, with how open the work scopes are, and these are some of the fundamental questions that we're going to be getting. But it really pushes the burden of proof to the proposer to make sure they point out the importance of what they're proposing to the NE mission. And documenting that as well as the newness and the more innovative nature that they are of the work that they're proposing, and whether it's effective and doable within the budget and the time scale and so forth. So there's kind of a shift now to the proposer to make all those arguments as opposed to having it well defined in the work scope. So this is a change in the philosophy that we have now.
Yes, very true, John. I think this is a new idea, trying to different approach from our conventional way to do this. We spell out exactly what we want the community to propose. In this case, the burden shift to the proposer. In this case, they want to convince us this is important to fund.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's right. We'll hang on here for a couple more minutes to take on any additional questions in topic area 2. So please raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question. You can go ahead and unmute yourself when I call on you. For those who are just joining us, we have Stephen Kong and Jim Willett, who are the program managers that are overseeing this topic area.
Maybe for the record, we can just tell people our email address. I don't think this is announced this year, right? So
yeah, and I think Stephen will. I think the guidance in the FOA points to directing questions to nup@inl.gov.
oh, okay, I see.
And
Okay,
then we
good.
can
Right.
distribute
So you will
those,
reach out to us. Okay, good.
Yep,
That works
absolutely.
fine.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. That way we can make sure that the individual asking the question understands the question will be publicly posted and some of those other types of things before they're answered. So,
good point. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a final call for questions here before we let Stephen and Jim get on with their day. So, final call for questions. All right. If you have any follow-on questions that you didn't have the opportunity to ask here, Julie has put in the chat, nup@inl.gov is the place where you can ask questions by email, and those will be distributed to the appropriate contacts, and an answer will be returned to you in a reasonable amount of time. Thank you all for attending. Stephen, Jim, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us and talk for a few minutes here. And like I said, please send email questions from here on out before our due dates. We have a letter of intent due date for NSUF applications this week, and then our pre-application due date is on October 11th. So thank you all for attending. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks,
and thank you, everybody, for your interest in our specific topical area. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.